Once again, thank you, Naja. Stacey Abrams knows how to get people out to vote. We saw it in the 2020 election. And now she is throwing her hat back into the ring and running for Georgia governor. This will be her second time. Current Georgia Governor Brian Kemp beat the voting rights activists, some people say he didn't, in 2018 by less than 1.5 points. Now, if she wins next year, she would be the state's first black governor and the first black woman governor in the U.S. She was very instrumental once again in making sure that the state of Georgia had 2 Democratic senators. Joining us now is political strategist Ameshia Cross. Ameshia, good to see you. This is exciting news. People want Stacey run again. She came close a couple of years ago, back in 2018. Let's talk about that, because maybe one day she'll actually be president. But her chances, and you was talking about she has a really good shot at it. We don't even realize or know who she's going to run against, because Brian Kemp, of course, he is the incumbent right now, doesn't have the endorsement of Donald Trump, which is big, obviously, in the GOP race. Some people say maybe she'll run against David Perdue, the former senator right there. So with that being the fracture in the Republican Party, does that make her chances even greater?
It absolutely does, because the Republicans don't know which side is up at this point. Donald Trump waves heavily over what happens with the GOP in Georgia. We saw that almost single-handedly, him going down there and basically advocating for himself after his loss in the 2020 presidential cost the Republican Senate seats, and it actually handed Senate seats over to the Democrats. I feel as though we're definitely going to see a showdown between Perdue and obviously the current sitting governor in Georgia. But beyond that, Stacey Abrams, we cannot deny the fact that her organizing power and ability is in another stratosphere. This is a woman who's been working on organizing Democrats across the state of Georgia and showcasing that the South can be won, and doing it at a local level, which I would argue the DNC needs to take a few keynotes from her, because they've often focused on federal races and not state and local races. She showed that that can happen, and we've seen the fruits of her work. Over 41 seats have been flipped in the state of Georgia in this municipal election cycle alone. 41 seats. That is huge for a place in the Deep South. She's also extremely popular amongst the Democratic base, not only in Georgia, but across the country. She's someone who's seen as one of the top contenders for 2024, the presidential. She's someone who's seen as not only a shot to the moon when it comes to presidential politics, but someone that the party is going to use. And we've seen this because she's been trudged down on campaigns for other Democrats. We saw her being used in Virginia in that race. We've seen her go across the country speaking on behalf of various candidates in tight races. She's someone who can fundraise like nobody's business. She's someone who the party believes in. She's someone who people believe in. She's able to unify diverse coalitions and bring people out who've honestly never voted before. There isn't enough we can say about the greatness of Stacey Abrams.
And we love her and we appreciate it, because once again, I think the detriment of her not winning in 2018 actually helped the Democratic Party in 2020 because of her get out the vote campaign there. But she's never been shy about wanting to be president, and a lot of people would vote for her and back her if she ran for president, maybe in 2024, maybe 2028, depending on what goes on with Joe Biden in this the Democratic Party. How will the GOP, though, use that against her, especially in the state of Georgia, like saying, like her ambitions? And they're already trying to do that now, saying she's only trying to use the governorship as a stepping stone, I should say, to the White House.
So I think that you can't say that about Stacey Abrams, but you're right. The Republican Party, not just Georgia Republicans, the Republican Party has targeted Stacey Abrams, and they have largely because of her fights against the voter restriction bills and voter access. With that being said, Stacey understands this game. She's someone who has worked in the South. She's someone who led the House in Georgia for a while. She's someone who's Harvard educated. She knows that the hits are coming, and she knows what the hits are, because the Republicans have already showed their hand. In Vice President Kamala Harris, we've seen how Republicans hit Black women. They're going to hit Stacey Abrams hard. They're going to hit her with stereotypical things about Black women. They're going to talk about her size. They're going to run memes. They're going to run a campaign saying that she's way too radical. She's too far to the left. They're going to call her a socialist. They're going to go hard in the paint, as they always do. But Stacey Abrams is built like a different breed in that sense. She understands intrinsically how that type of politics works, because she has been in the trenches. Anytime you can run and you can almost best, without there being some shady situations going on in voter suppression in Georgia, you can almost best someone who is running for Georgia governor on the Republican side, and you're able to pull people out in droves who will get out that vote for Democrats in a place that has been seen as solidly red for so long. We have to remember Stacey Abrams has been in this fight for over 20 years now. Just because she's just now getting national shine doesn't mean she hasn't been at this work for a very long time. She gets it. And I don't think that she's going to fall on her face because Republicans are using the same tactics they always have.
Ameshia, explain to the viewers why the governor's race is so important when it comes to the national race. We saw that recently in Virginia. We saw it recently in New Jersey. If she becomes the governor of Georgia, how will that impact us nationally?
I didn't get the last question. Sorry.
Did you hear me? Okay, if she wins the governor's race in Georgia in 2022, how will that impact us nationally? We saw the same thing. We saw how important the governor's races were, and we watched closely in Virginia when Virginia went Republican again, and how closely that race was in New Jersey. Why is the governor's race so important when it comes to a national level?
It shows what's possible. It also shows that Democrats can play in state and local races. Republicans have had a strategy for state and local races for going on now 4.5 decades.